Have you ever wondered what it's really like to own a laundromat, especially in a small town? Is it worth it? Does it make money? Does it take care of itself? Do the machines ever break down? So today,
we're going to answer all those.
And you might say, why are y'all outside doing this at night? Well, because it's weird during the day to be walking around in there shooting a video with everybody in there. Is film the right word?
Film, yeah. Video it, yeah.
I figured no, nobody says film anymore, Cody.
It's just weird with people walking around in there. They don't want you videoing them.
So we're going to answer all the questions that we get asked most commonly and kind of let you know what we think about it.
All right, let's go in. Before we get into all those questions, I want to show you something that's made a huge difference in our business. Today's sponsor of the video is eufy. They sent us the NVR Security System S4, and I wish we had it sooner.
So about like 5-6 years ago, this laundromat was actually broken into over the weekend while we were gone, and the culprits threw a brick through the back door. It's solid glass. Once they got in here, they used a hammer to beat the doorknobs off of the door that goes into our utility room back here where the water heaters are and our, all of our cleaning supplies and things like that. And they also used the hammer to beat the doorknob off of my office door. But luckily I had it dead bolted also, so they weren't able to get in. But having a good security system is mandatory for
not only your business, but your employees and your customers as well. So.
Right. So it keeps our employees safe. It keeps us safe as a business, and it's cheap insurance to have, so that you can track down anybody if they happen to get in there. You can at least show the police, hey, this is who it was. And these cameras, I wish we'd have had them 5-10 years ago when that happened, because the clarity on these is next to none compared to the ones we had back then. You could barely make out that they were people.
So the setup we've got here uses eufy's Bullet-PTZ Triple Lens model, which gives you a 4K fixed wide-angle view plus a 2K 360-degree PTZ lens. That means you can watch the whole laundromat and still zoom in for details all in one camera. It also has up to 50-meter auto framing with group tracking. So if multiple people walk through, it follows them automatically without me touching a thing.
It uses on-device AI to process video locally, keeping it fast and private, and with support for up to 16 terabyte hard drive and 16 channel expandability, we can store weeks of footage and grow the system as we need.
One of my favorite features is live cross-camera tracking. If someone moves across the parking lot, the system automatically hands them off from one camera to the next. You never lose track.
And when you need to go back through footage, the Smart Video Search makes it easy. Instead of scrolling for hours, you just type in keywords and instantly pull up the clips you need, like checking a customer interaction or when a delivery came in. And finally, it's easy to manage. I can check footage on the monitor, my phone, or even my iPad or laptop. Plus, it works with other eufy cameras through the Wi-Fi module, so you don't even have to start over from scratch.
So between ranch chores and keeping this place going, we don't have time to babysit a security camera.
So that's why we chose the eufy NVR Security System S4 for all of our security needs here at the cleaners. Or here at the laundromat. Sorry, we got both right here.
Okay, now that that's wrapped up, let's get back to the number one question.
Why did we buy a laundromat? So why did we buy a laundromat? Well, it wasn't really that we set out to buy a laundromat.
We didn't even frequent the laundromat or the dry cleaners. So first of all, we do own a laundromat and dry cleaners under one roof. Under one roof.
So just on the other side of this wall right here is our full dry cleaning operation. So we have our receiving up in the front, and then in the back here, we have all of our machines where we do all the pressing here on site. We don't send anything out.
But today we're just going to focus on laundromat.
So we never really set out to be laundromat owners. It kind of just happened by chance and by the grace of God. Because what happened is I had been working in a preconditioning yard or a feedlot that some of y'all might know, and killer hours, wasn't getting to spend time with Erica and Fred. Clancy wasn't here yet. I took a job in town selling pickups where I did very good at, but same thing. We were working lots of hours, had to be there every weekend, and that was kind of running into Kylie or Fred going to play days and junior rodeos and stuff like that. So I was like, I was kind of looking for something else to do. And I've got a cousin of mine that's more like a brother. He's a few years older than me, and he came to me one day and said, hey, the cleaners is up for sale. What do you think about buying that? we'll go in partners, you run it, and then he would be a silent partner. And I said, well, I don't know. I mean, I don't really use the cleaners that much, and I don't know anything about it, but I got 2 weeks of vacation coming up, so I'll take my vacation time and I'll go sit up there for 2 weeks and see how everything runs. So the first week I was here, I spent all my time over in the cleaners, and I did everybody's job. I helped, stock in clothes, I helped press clothes, I helped wash, just kind of saw all the workings of it. And then the second week I spent time in the office just going over the numbers and everything. And one of the things that really intrigued me was the laundromat. It was, at that time there were 2 laundromats in town, this one and an old rundown one, and this one did a lot of business. And just seeing the different types of people that come in, from the really highfalutin folks in our hometown all the way down to the people, I'm not going to say homeless, but just the people that were a little more downtrodden. And just seeing the type, because I always thought, well, the only people that go to a laundromat are people that don't have a washer and dryer, but that's not the case. A lot of people that come in here are like, hey, I can come in here and in 1 hour I can wash a full week's worth of clothes, versus spending hours at my own house, because they'll fill up these big washing machines, or they'll get 5 or 10 of these little washing machines going, and then get 5 or 10 dryers. So it was just a really neat business. So what actually brought us to owning a laundromat was we just saw the opportunity to buy a operating business and take off from there. So we just kind of got into it by happen chance.
Did you just burp?
Yes. You fed me a bunch of brisket. So another real common question we get is, how much does it cost to get into the laundromat business? There's lots of factors in there that's hard to explain and hard to take everything into consideration, but we're just kind of going to do a bird's eye view of it looking down.
At this point, I should probably just hold the camera.
But no, I mean, you're going to have something to throw in there. But
jabs.
So let's start with a building. You got 2 options. You can either own it or you can rent it. We own this building. We bought the property, so the monthly rent that we're paying is actually a payment to the bank to pay off the building. So I think there's pros and cons to both. If you're going to build a building or own a building, there's lots of maintenance that goes into one of these. You've got, an enormous amount of plumbing in these things, because like in our laundromat alone, we have 27 washing machines and we have 34 dryers, and it's a small one, guys. So, but that's a lot of plumbing. That's lots of hot water and cold water fixtures coming out of your lines. You have to have a recirculating line to recirculate everything. So, we've got front doors, back doors, windows, all that kind of stuff. So, flooring that's constantly getting wet or getting stuff spilled on it. So, leasing might be a good option when you first get started if there's an existing laundromat there, because you can look at it and see, okay, if there's any upkeep to the building, I'm not going to be responsible for that. But you also got to hope you got a good landlord that's going to take care of it. I always prefer owning stuff. I don't want to lease or rent stuff if I don't have to. So I would recommend owning if at all possible. Now, if you build from scratch, or should you buy an existing business, there's pros and cons to both. There's a guy here locally, not locally, but around Central Texas. I think he's got 26 or 7 basically new laundromats where he goes in and puts in, just down one wall like this, washing machines and dryers, and they're doing really well for them. But he also has 26 or 27 of them, so an area that maybe is really performing can offset the ones that aren't performing as well. So if you're going to build from the ground up, just know it's going to cost a lot. Right here, this bulkhead that I'm standing on, right next to it, there is these are 50-pound machines, I believe. No, these are 40-pound machines. I've got 3 of them right here. These machines today would probably cost you somewhere in the neighborhood of probably about $12,000 each. So there's $50,000 worth of machines sitting right here. Right behind that here is a 50-pound machine. It's probably going to cost you closer to $15,000. We've got some 20-pound machines over there that are about $5,000 each. So buying good equipment is going to cost a lot. Even a little old top load washing machine like we have back here that a lot of people still love to use, you're looking at spending $1,000 for one of those. So if you got 10 of them back here, you got $10,000 sitting there. So just know that starting from scratch is going to cost you a lot. But if you buy an existing laundromat, you want to be very careful to go through and check your machines, because you might have a lot of broke down equipment in there, and it might cost a lot to get somebody to come and work on it. Your average Maytag guy's not going to be able to come in and work on these industrial machines like they need to.
And luckily, we have our existing, the employees that we carried over from the business. Our guy Pedro knew how to work on all this stuff, and Cody learned how to work on all this stuff. So they're able to do a lot of maintenance themselves, but like yesterday, we still had to call somebody in to come look at a lot of machines.
Yeah, so that's a really good point, because being able to do maintenance on your own equipment is really a good savings for you, because if you're spending all your time having to call somebody in, especially like us, I mean, there's a service tech out that's like 40 miles from us, but we get charged a trip for him to come out here because we're not really in this service limit. So, you know, it's, I don't know, $200 or whatever just to get here, whether he's looking at one machine or 5 machines. So, and if it's something simple that you can replace on your own, there's lots of videos online where you can pull up your equipment and find the ways to replace it or fix it. So that's something you can do on your own and check it out. But being able to do that kind of stuff is essential to running a laundromat. Now, if you're in a big city, it might be better or a little bit easier on you, because there's probably going to be a vendor in there that takes care of that stuff.
But like, how much time do you think you spend YouTubing broke stuff?
Quite a bit. I mean, but not really. I mean, when we first started, in the beginning, we spent a lot of time. But now, it's the same things that go wrong with them. It's water valves, or it's buttons break on the dryers, or it's a door switch. And once you've been in it for a while, you understand, hey, this is what it is. You fix it easy. So how much does it cost? It can cost anywhere from, maybe $15,000 or $20,000 to buy an existing business, depending on the size of that laundromat and the age of the equipment, up to a few million to start from the ground up and build a building and stock it full of new machines. So just do your research when you go in there to look at one and look at it. So here we're kind of in the heart of the whole laundromat here. This is kind of I call it our utility room, but basically it's where all of the breaker boxes are. It's where the water heaters are that heat the water, the back side, or the chase kind of behind the dryers, so that you can get back there and work on the dryers.
And so all the tools for the breakdowns.
Yeah, and repair parts. We keep a lot of our repair parts in here. We keep our cleaning supplies back here. Only Pedro and I and one other person have keys to get back here, so that we can, if something's broke down, we can get back here and take a look at it. But another big cost that a lot of people don't think of is there's an enormous amount of natural gas that we use through here. We've got these 2 big water heaters. They've got a pump on here that continually circulates that water, because you want that hot water to be there on demand anytime a machine says, I need hot water. So we have to continually keep that water circulating through the system, so this thing basically never quits running. It runs up there, it's pumping water out, and it's always bringing cool water back. So that's why we've got 2 of them. They're in case one goes down, the other one can pick up the slack until we get it fixed. But we've been very fortunate. Both of these have lasted we're going on like 13 years now, and they were used when we put them in, when they came in. So, but that's a big cost. Also, we're using natural gas to heat this, along with the dryers. They run all on natural gas. We don't use electric ones. So your utility costs are very high, sometimes more than what your mortgage would be or your rent expense would be. So you want to factor all that in. And the only way to really do that, you can get with some of these companies that sell this equipment, and you can go in, and if you're going to buy one, and say, okay, these are the machines that we have or that we're looking at buying a business here. These are the machines that are in it, and they can tell you, okay, for every turn, and that's what the business calls it, every wash and dry cycle is a turn. If you can give them the specs on your machine, and they can say, okay, it should use this much water for every turn, it should use this much gas. You can also give them the cost of your water and your natural gas in your area, and they can kind of give you a report that says, okay, so for every turn that thing makes, it should cost you this much, So that's something I would definitely tell you to look into before you buy anything or you get ready to put something in, is what's it going to cost for every turn. And the industry average says about 3.5 turns a day, the last time I checked, is what an average machine or an average laundromat should do. So what that means is every machine in your building should have 3.5 washes or 3.5 dryer cycles run through it. So, say a big 50-pound washing machine, you wash that, well, that's 1 turn. But if it goes into a 30-pound dryer, well, that's going to be 2 turns in your 30-pound dryer, because you're going to split that 50 pounds into 2 30-pound pockets. So that would be 2. Y'all figure that out, do that math there. But at our heyday, at the very best, right after we bought this thing, about 4 years after we bought it, the other laundromat in town closed down. And when that happened, we were the only game in town, and we were getting about 6 or 7 turns a day, and it was phenomenal. And then another outsider bought the old laundromat, completely gutted it, rebuilt it, and we saw a significant drop. We went from being, the
only game in town,
10 to 12 turns a day, 7 to 8, we dropped down to where we were doing about 6 turns a day. And then it kind of went down to about 5. We went from being the nicest, newest laundromat in town to the older, our machines are old, but we still keep them in good shape, and it's just not as nice and new. So, and then here recently, right after the first of this year started, we had another out-of-towner come in and put in an entirely new laundromat. Next door to us. Literally
next door.
Less than 50 yards. Just the next parking lot over. And really, guys, I haven't seen a major drop in our number of turns. We're about the 4 turns a day right now. And I didn't really see a big drop when he came in, but I think he's pulling customers from the other one because now he's the newest game in town. So our loyal customers are still coming. We just don't have some of the other ones that were coming in. So, but it's still profitable. So that's another big question is well, how much money does it make? Well, that really all depends on you as an operator. Can you lock in your energy cost effectively? How much does your gas pay? How much is your gas bill? Are you, employee? Are you going to be manned or unmanned? So go ahead.
I was just going to say, that's one thing about that we haven't talked about here is that we're an unmanned laundromat. So during the day, we have employees that are next door and Cody's in his office, but we don't have someone that's in here as their station.
And it would be nice to have a fully attended laundromat, somebody to help other people anytime they're in here, but you have to charge more for that. And for the most part, our stuff is simple enough to run that you don't really need anybody here. And Pedro gets here in the morning. He does our dry cleaning for us, so he's here about 5:30 or 6 every morning. He opens the laundromat at 7, and there's always somebody here till 6 o'clock at night, and then we close at 10, and our last wash is at 9. So there's only 2 or 3 hours in there where there's actually not anybody here.
And then the weekends, but
we have a Facebook page, and if there's ever something goes wrong, people can just send a message in, and usually I can either call Pedro or I can run into town, and we just come and help them if there's an issue. So it can be profitable, but it really just depends on the state of your equipment, the neighborhood, the demand. That's something you really got to look at. You've got to, I wouldn't just say I'm going to go into a little old town that's only got 500 people and put in a laundromat. It may not make any money. You may not want to go into a spot that's got 5 or 6 laundromats in a half-mile radius either. It may not make you any money. You need to just be diligent and look and say, okay, is there a need in this area for a good, clean laundromat? Will it, is the one that's here, half the machines are broke down and there's never anybody in there, there's never any soap in the soap vending machines? Or, hey, is this a brand new facility that's got an attendant 24 hours a day and it's swept and mopped every 2 hours? I might not want to put in right next to them, So keep that in mind.
On to the next one. So on the money making side of it, there are some value add opportunities within a laundromat. So you can do wash and fold, which a lot of people enjoy the wash and fold. So if you don't know what wash and fold is, Erica's going to explain that to you. You just bring your laundry in a bag or a basket, drop it off, and we wash it, fold it, and you get it back same day if you drop it off in the morning.
At our facility, not necessarily same day at everybody.
At our facility, all in a basket, folded for you.
There's also, if you own your own laundromat, you want to sell soap and all that kind of stuff. We have that right next to our coin machine. So when you get your coins, your dollar bills changed into coins, you can buy your soap, your laundry detergent, your fabric softeners, your dryer sheets, any of that kind of stuff. You want to sell that. Most of you know that Clientele has a soda machine in here. I would highly recommend, if you're looking to have your own laundromat, that you put your own soda machine in, because you have folks in here that are going to spend at least an hour, maybe an hour and a half in your facility. they're probably going to get thirsty, and they've got a handful of cash in their pocket.
We've been trying to get him to put in a snack machine, but I think it would do well.
I know it would, and I'm trying to let him have those opportunities. But so there's those options there. So wash and fold, soap machines, vending machines, maybe arcade games or candy machines, that kind of stuff. There's always something, to make that little extra dollar there, and that can help with your bottom line. So keep that in mind if you're looking for other revenue opportunities within your laundromat.
I'm just like a pretty face in this video. All right, we're on to biggest challenges in owning a laundromat.
So what are they?
Well, what do you think some of them are? You want me to tell you?
Yeah, I mean, you see it all the time.
Okay.
I mean, when do I get aggravated?
When a machine breaks. If something breaks, staffing challenges, which we don't have it that much on this side of the business just because we're unmanned over here, except for maintenance and cleaning.
Yeah. Well, let's break that down. So when we talk about machines breaking down, that's just a normal aspect, but it always seems like it happens at the worst time. I mean, it's never, they don't hardly quit working when we're here during the day.
No,
it's
always a weekend, or there's water running out.
11 o'clock on Sunday morning when we're trying to get ready to walk into church, and you get this message that, hey, my clothes, machine's got my clothes caught up, or there's water running out of the floor, this machine stole my money. And a lot of that stuff is operator error. I mean, if you leave a piece of clothing stuck out of this door when you shut it, you can shut it and latch it, but it may not let go of that article of clothing, and it's going to make it leak water in the floor. Or a lot of times, if a customer doesn't shut the door good, the machine won't start, and they're like, oh, it stole my money. And we make a 15-20 minute drive into town, and it's just
gotta latch it.
And you tell them on the phone, hey, make sure you got that door latched. Oh, I've latched it 27 times, and then me or Pedro come by and it just click and it just takes off running. So,
but that just takes some getting used to if you haven't been here and haven't used the machines. So,
or I mean, you try to walk them through it, but so machines breaking down at inopportune times. Staffing can be an issue if you're going to be fully manned or have an attendant, keeping somebody, because, we've been blessed with really good employees. Like, y'all probably seen them floating around here, but Pedro and his son Juan are here. They clean the laundromat at night for us. Every night they come in, lock the doors, sweep them off, clean up the machines, and have it ready for the next morning. Another big challenge is just people not taking care of your stuff. I mean, they'll throw anything that they want in here. There'll be pins in here, pocket knives, firecrackers, nuts, bolts, screws. I mean, we've no telling how many of these little cheaper washing machines. I say cheap, they're like a household grade washing machine, that a screw goes out the side of the basket and then rubs a hole in the plastic barrel that's around the outside of the basket, and then we have to replace that. These are stainless steel inside, so it's not near as big an issue with them, but just stuff like that. People just not respecting your equipment. They do stuff that they wouldn't do at their own house in yours. A lot of people worry about, well, I don't want somebody bringing dog hair, a dog blanket up here or a horse blanket. These machines eat that stuff up like it ain't even there. I mean, they just suck it down, and they've got a big old 3-inch drain in them, pump it on out. So you don't have to worry about that so much. But just another big challenge is keeping this place clean and safe. Safety's not that big an issue. I mean, we've got well-lit parking lot front and rear, all nice lighting in here. We've got security cameras, but keeping it clean is very tough, because there's lots of little nooks and crannies in these machines, and these were used when the man that built this laundromat put them in 20-something years ago. So maybe not, like 15 years ago maybe, but anyways, they were used when he put them in. But just there's lots of little nooks and crannies for dirt and stuff, and people are just, they bring their food in here and eat and leave it on the countertop or on the folding tables, and just so during the week while we're at the cleaners, I do have a lady that comes over here every day about dinner and does a quick sweep and wipe stuff down just to kind of keep things looking as good as we can. But that's a really big challenge, is just keeping things clean and nice, because nobody wants to come in to wash and clean their clothes and it be filthy, dirty, nasty.
Okay, on to benefits.
So the benefits to the laundromat is it really is a community service to your community. Everybody wants to have clean clothes. Now, not everybody does, but most everybody wants to have clean clothes. So
I feel like I'm cutting your head off.
Whether or not you have a washer or dryer at home or not, you might have a need for the utilization.
And even if you have one at home, sometimes it goes out.
Yeah, I mean, there are lots of times when we have folks in here that are, I'll see a lady in here and be like, what are you doing here? I haven't seen you in a while. And she's like, well, our dryer went out or my washing machine went out. And a lot of times, once they've come for a few weeks, even if they get something new, it's like, I like coming here better just because I
like coming just for once a week and getting it all done. Yeah.
So, it provides a place for those folks to come and do what they need to get done, get their laundry done. It also provides us an opportunity to give back to the community, because one of the things we've done in the past is on like Easter Sunday or the weekend of Easter, we'll do free washes for the entire laundromat. Just like, Christ gave his life for you to cleanse you, so we're going to cleanse your clothes for free. And
we haven't done that.
Haven't done that in the last couple of years, but we've done it quite a bit in the past.
Yeah.
And
I kind of fell off the marketing. I'm back on now.
It also gives us the opportunity to like sponsor little league teams, soccer, baseball, football teams, all that kind of stuff.
Stuff for 4-H.
4-H stuff. It's nice to come up here and see something and have pride in a business that's helping your community. So we like that aspect of it.
And being local, we get asked sometimes to do tours for the school or for 4-H and stuff like that, so they can see inside different businesses. So that's another way we can give back. But
another big benefit of a laundromat is the flexibility to come and go. You're not tied down to this. You don't have to be here every day. Like you do have to come in a couple times a week and clean out your machines. I know there's some people on here that say
clean out. He's talking about quarters.
Like take the coin drops
if you
out,
have a coin operated machine. We haven't mentioned that all of our machines are coin operated. We don't have any card readers on our machines.
And we do that by choice, and here's my reasoning behind it. I would like to consider putting in a card reader where you could use a debit card to pay, but I don't like the systems where you have to get a membership card and you put money on it, because what if you don't use that, or what if you're just passing through and you don't,
that's how
you
they
got
get
to put
you.
$20 on it, but you only use 15.
That's
well, how
how
do
they
you get your
get
other
you,
5
Cody.
back?
That's how they get you.
Coins can be a headache because sometimes the machine gets stopped up, or get a bent coin in there, or somebody puts the wrong kind. But
the quarter machine is.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
but
a headache.
that thing's had lots and lots of quarters run through it.
It has,
so.
but that's a headache that we should have mentioned on challenges, is keeping that full all the time and
keeping it
not jammed.
Operating, yeah. So, but.
And you'll have people come over and rob your machine. Not rob, but come over and get quarters out of your machine that aren't using your laundromat.
Like for a car wash, or we live in a prison town, so sometimes people come in, they're going out to the prison. I think maybe they can only take in quarters to get drinks and snacks, so they might come in here, they'll be $200 or $300 worth of quarters gone, but they're not back in the machines.
And you're like, they're not in the machines.
So, but the benefit that I was getting at is that you do have the freedom of not being tied down here, so you have passive income, and that's the one thing that a lot of folks like, is passive income. So depending on where you're at, what part of the country, and the neighborhood you're in, now whether or not it can be enough passive income that you don't have to work anymore, I don't know. I mean, I see people on here that are like cleaning out, I'm making $800 a day through here. Well, maybe they are, but if they're bringing in $800, they probably got a lot of expenses going out. There's lots of machines going. So don't think that they're clearing that much. They may have $800 run through their machines, but their profit margin isn't that high. So, and I could talk profit margins with you, but that's so spread out depending on what you're having to pay for water and electricity and what you're having to pay for natural gas. So you're going to have to figure that out on your own. You're going to have to say, hey, if I was going to buy one of these, I would look at it. I would say, sir, would you mind if for the next week I come in and help you clean the machines out every day, so we can see how many turns a day it's doing, and then based off of that you can figure out what your utility costs and your expenses are going to be, and then you can see what your profit margin is going to be. If that makes sense to you guys. So on to the next part.
On to myths. Okay, so myth number 1, it runs itself.
Not true.
Not true.
You're going to have to be here. You're going to have to be present to fix machines, to help customers that are having issues occasionally. You don't have to be here all the time, but there are going to be those occasional customers that are going to need help, and you may have to leave a family vacation, a birthday party, or something like that to come up and assist somebody. So it's not going to run itself. There's a constant maintenance flow of things that need to be done, and you're going to have to be you're either going to have to be here to do it, or you're going to have to be here to let people in to do it and get them paid and that kind of stuff. So they don't run themselves. Myth number 2 would be all laundromats only run on quarters. It's an all cash business. You don't have to report anything to the IRS.
That's a myth. That's a myth.
That's a myth. I mean, you don't have to report your income to the, because it is cash and they don't really have a way of tracking it, but I would not suggest that.
Yeah.
I mean, we report every dollar that comes through here, just because number one, that's the honest thing to do, but number two, I don't want to lose my business or them come in and say, well, we think based off of this you should have been making this much, so we're going to charge you whether it is or not. So report your taxes, report your income.
But all businesses aren't all quarters. A lot of them, like we talked about, have apps or card readers. So
all those cost a little extra, but it might be a benefit in your part of the, you know, if I was in a real fancy neighborhood up in Dallas or in the Metroplex or something, I would probably have a card reader or an app program. But, you know, where we're at, quarters still seem to work fine.
Myth number 3, nobody uses laundromats anymore.
Big negative on that myth. Laundromats still get a lot of use because, like we've mentioned before in the video, even if you have washing machines and dryers at home, they break down and you've got to have a place to clean your clothes. Lots of times your regular household washing machine is too small to wash. A
lot of people like to bring their big comforters and stuff up here because they don't want to cram them in there.
Yeah, a king size comforter will not wash in a top load washing machine like that. I mean, you can shove them in there and it'll get wet, but it probably won't get clean. So big machines, you know, for bigger stuff. There's always folks passing through traveling that are going to need to stop in a place to wash their clothes.
Or people that are stationed here to work for a little while and in a hotel that'll want to come in and wash their clothes.
And there's always just folks that don't have a washer or dryer. You know, maybe they live in an apartment complex and they're always having to wait on somebody to get their clothes out of there and they just don't want to mess with that. So washaterias, laundromats, there's still a huge need for them. Lots of people use them on the daily. So that myth is busted.
We busted all the myths.
Yeah.
So owning your own laundromat is not a get-rich-quick scheme. But
I would agree with that.
I mean, it's steady work, but it's rewarding and it can be semi-passive.
Yeah, I mean, it is passive. You don't have to be here all day, every day to work it. You know, I would just be like I said, I'd be very cautious about the area I'm wanting to put one in at, or if I'm going to buy an existing one, what the machines are like. Be sure you try to get some kind of idea of what the turns per day are in the area, in that laundromat at that time when you buy it, because you want to base your purchase off of that. Don't be afraid to go up on your prices if you need to. I mean, it costs money to keep your machines going, so you're gonna have to go. If you buy a rundown, you're probably gonna have to go up on your price, but as you increase your price, a lot of times that leads to better clientele that take better care of your machines, because, you know, the people that don't necessarily care so much about taking care of your equipment, if you're charging them more, they're gonna go to the cheaper place. That's something no matter what business you're in. There's some customers that are only what's the word I'm looking for? They care more about the quality of the work that they're paying for than they do the price. So you can charge more and they're still going to come. You have some people, they don't care a hill of beans about how much quality is there, how hard you work.
They don't care if you're local or not. They're
All
just
they
going to
care
go
about
wherever
is
it's cheapest.
the cheapest price, and that's the customer you don't want. You don't want him in your store of any kind.
I mean, you do want.
They're the ones that gripe the most, complain the most, and you make the least amount of money on. So no, you want to fire them. I heard Dave Ramsey say today that he told a customer that called one of his hotlines or something and griped at a little receptionist, and he said, "You're fired as a customer." And he's like, "Don't call here, don't write here, don't even buy a book off the website. You're fired."
Yep, you're fired.
So anyways, guys, so
if you've ever thought about owning a laundromat, drop your questions below if you have more questions, and we'll try to answer them. We're not pros by any means. We only have one laundromat, but we've had it now for, we didn't cover that, 13 years?
Be 13 years in January. We bought it in November of 2012 in the cleaners. So, and
yeah.
I am kind of happy to report this. Between the two of them, it's all under one note, but it'll be paid off in January. So that's 13 years to pay off this facility and the one next door. So yeah. Last tip I'm going to tell you: if you buy an existing laundromat, I would definitely reach out to the Coin Laundry Association and see if you could find an appraiser in your area to come in and appraise the equipment before you bought it, because We didn't do that, and not that we took advantage of or anything, but you know, I gave $1,100 for this washing machine 6 years ago. You know, it's probably worth $300 today, maybe $100. I don't know, but that's what I would do. I would get an appraiser to come in and walk through the machines and run them all and say, okay, this one's worth $300, this one's worth $300, that one's worth $0. It's going to cost $300 to fix it, and then it's worth $300. So it's not worth fixing before you do anything. And that's called the dry clean. What did I say? The Coin
CLA.
Laundry Association. Yeah, Coin Laundry Association. Get with them, and they can probably get you somebody to come in and do an appraisal.
And that
for you.
is the other thing is the
Coin Laundry
Coin Laundry Association, and then we also have the dry cleaning one.
Yeah.
They have conferences every year, and they have clean shows and all that, where you can go and see equipment and get knowledge and stuff like that. So those are also good resources if you get into the business or think about getting into the business.
Absolutely.
Last thing Cody didn't say is never, ever, ever, ever buy a front load regular washing machine.
Not even for your house. If you're going to buy a household washing machine, buy a top load. I suggest Speed Queen. That's what we have in our house. If you got buku money and you want to buy a good one, buy you a Dexter. They're the best.
We have
in my
Speed
opinion.
Queens.
We have Speed Queens, yeah, and they were used. We bought them from my cousin when he sold one of his duplexes.
And they
he had 'em in
replaced
there.
our 20-year-old whirlpools. So.
Yeah. So, until next time, guys, y'all keep ranching
Wrenching
and praying
and cleaning.
washing.
Oh, dang, we didn't say the right
Okay.
thing.
No, I did. You didn't. Okay. Until
And-
next time,
okay.
guys, y'all keep ranching,
Wrenching
praying,
and
washing.
washing.